Midweek stock market update, folks, and it's been a massive turnaround, hasn't it? Let's just dive right into that. This is share prices relative to forward earnings, their forward profitability. Green means cheap, red means expensive. Still a lot of expensive stuff, but of course it's not the only measure of valuation, because you might argue, well, Tesla can invent, I don't know, time travel. Therefore, its current share price, even compared to projected future profits, isn't that expensive at current levels. And so you've got to factor those kind of things in here. So what does it look like for us at the moment? Well, energy, relatively cheap, drug manufacturers, Johnson & Johnson at the time. We'll have a look at some of these banks over here and some of the financials looking relatively cheap. That's still a lot of expense in tech. Don't forget, as I go through the charts and the stocks here, I will cover valuation, growth, income, dividend yields, cash flow, momentum, Sortino Alpha, all of these things. So it's not just price charts I'll be looking at. The things that, if you're on my Great Investments program, you'll be well familiar with. And speaking of which, do have a look at alpeshpatel.com/links. So how's the performance been over the past week? Well, blimmin' heck, talk about a turnaround. Everybody's in bull market territory, with the exception of the undervalued energy companies. Ironically, you might think, given what's happening in the Middle East, you'd expect their profits, because there should be some price hikes coming, and therefore their profit margins should get higher, to have done significantly better. Exchange traded funds, and how have they done over the past week? Again, a heck of a lot of green. Again, not energy though. This is over the past month. So energy has been suffering not just over the past week, but over the past month. And you can see pretty much across the board, every single type of exchange traded fund has been doing rather well. Those doing the best over the past month: Brazil, basically Latin America generally. I guess they're not having wars or involved in them directly or indirectly. Therefore, maybe that's the reason. But I've not had a close look at that region. How are we doing on the markets year to date? Well, we're back up to 39% up on the NASDAQ. Now, as I said, it peaked at about 44% end of July. And some of my students were in their 30s who had picked NASDAQ-rich stocks. They double their pension. That's ridiculous to achieve in a year, and that's not typical. When we look at aside from the NASDAQ, you look at the S&P 500, that's up 20%, okay? So that's the S&P over there, up 20 whopping percent. Not bad at all, is it? Okay, and that's more broadly, the S&P 500, more broadly for people of a certain age, or older people looking at their pensions would have been more heavy in that, and so a good year for their pensions. Generally, top 10 S&P 500 stocks compared to a month ago, these are the companies. I won't necessarily look at all of these, but it's just to give you a heads up. And from the FTSE 350, the 350 largest listed UK companies, these have been the best performers over the past month. Again, something that I might dip into one or two of these to see if they abide by my special situations. Don't forget, if you're on my Great Investments program, that on the approved filtered list, so the further filtered list, we now provide stocks which AI has picked alongside my own ones, and they're usually different to the ones I've picked, so that's always interesting. Let's jump into the S&P 500, and what we're looking at over here is we're still in that downward trend. So we haven't escaped that. Before, everybody thinks, oh, we're in a bull market, we're in a bull market. We're now touching the top of that bar, the downward channel. Now, that's happened in the past, and when it has, unfortunately, like here, or there, the market's gone all the way back down again, all the way back down again. So the real issue is, are we going to get a significant breakout there, in which case we're bullish, or are we going to just fall back down there again? Okay, the monthly MACD is neutral, and it's just difficult to tell at the moment which direction all of this is going to go, and the market, I guess, to some extent is undecided. Like I said, I still feel with the FTSE, we're looking at this direction. So let's go to Apple. What I'm going to do is, this week, the midweek broadcast, the rest of this will be on the private Telegram channel for my Great Investments program users, the private Telegram channel. And for those of you who are not part of it, well, have a look at Great Investments program under alpeshpatel.com/links. Thank you.